Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on January 15, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comments section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comments section below. Xavier vs Marquette. The number 25 Marquette Golden Eagles, 14-4, 6-1 Big East, will travel to Cincinnati, to take on the number 12 Xavier Musketeers, 14-3, 6-0 Big East, at Cintas Center for a Big East battle. The Golden Eagles have won 5 consecutive games and are coming off a win against UConn, while the Musketeers have won 10 consecutive contests and are coming off a win against Creighton. The Xavier Musketeers have been unstoppable, winning 10 consecutive games while staying undefeated in the Big East. Xavier and Marquette are pretty evenly matched on both sides of the ball. However, there is one thing that holds Xavier above the Golden Eagles, and that's the ability to shoot from beyond the arc. With the Musketeers' ability to shoot from anywhere on the court, I expect the offense to slowly pull ahead of Marquette. In addition, with the momentum that they have with their massive win streak and conference domination while also having the home court advantage, I expect the home crowd to be brimming with energy that will offset the Golden Eagles and lift the Musketeers. Our team pick is Xavier Musketeers minus 3.5 points. Watch for Baum and Fremantle to have big games, especially with Baum coming off a 26-point outing. Take Xavier. The St. John's Red Storm visits XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut on Sunday to play the number 6 ranked UConn Huskies in a Big East clash. St. John's improved to 12-6 overall and 2-5 in Big East play following its 77-61 victory over the Butler Bulldogs on Tuesday night. Joel Soriano was the leading scorer for St. John's with 20 points. The victory snapped a 5-game losing streak for the Red Storm. The UConn Huskies have won 2 of their last 5 matchups and are looking to get a winning streak going. They currently hold a winning record in the Big East and are sitting in 4th place. The Huskies have an overall better team with the offense averaging 80 points per game, while the defense is conceding just 62.6 points per contest. With this being said, the Huskies' offense is explosive and talented enough to put a lot of points on the boards, so expect them to do that against a defense that is surrendering over 70 points per game. Our team pick is UConn Huskies minus 14 points. The Huskies' defense has been unbreakable this season, giving up just 62.6 points per game, so watch out for them to make huge plays and cause chaos for the St. John's offense. Niagara vs Marist. The Marist Red Foxes, 6-9 2-4 mock, visit Niagara Falls, New York, and the Gallagher Center for a Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference game against the Niagara Purple Eagles, 9-7 4-3 mock. Marist defeated Canisia 76-58 in its most recent game and has won each of the last 2 after suffering through a 5-game losing skid. Niagara was defeated by Siena 70-64 in its most recent game and has lost 2 straight following a 4-game winning streak. Marist and Niagara do not have any injuries on their respective rosters. Niagara has a solid defense that is holding opponents to 65.0 points per game and 42.1% shooting. The Purple Eagles have covered the spread in 8 of the last 10 games played at home on a Sunday and in 4 of the last 6 games against an opponent from the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Niagara has also covered the spread in 4 of its last 6 versus Marist. Marist has struggled this season at 6-9 straight up and 7-7-1 against the spread. Our team pick is Niagara Purple Eagles minus 5.5 points. The Red Foxes are having problems putting the ball in the hole, scoring an average of only 63.3 points per game. Marist shoots just 40.4% overall and 31.9% from long distance. Michigan vs Northwestern. The Michigan Wolverines, 9-7, will host the Northwestern Wildcats, 12-4, in a Big Ten matchup. Last season Michigan beat Northwestern 72-70, but did not cover as an 8-point home favorite. Michigan has dropped its last 2 games in the Big Ten, but both of those games did come on the road against strong offensive teams. Although Northwestern will pose more of a challenge defensively, the Wildcats' lack of offensive firepower should be an issue against a more talented Michigan team. The Wolverines are the second best team in the nation when it comes to committing the fewest turnovers per offensive play, and the Wolverines have covered the number in 3 of the last 4 head-to-head meetings. Although Northwestern only lost to Michigan by 2 points last season, the Wildcats also shot 49% from the floor and 47% from 3 in that game. I get the case to be made for either side here, but I'm leaning towards Northwestern and the points. Michigan struggled in their last couple of games, and while those games were on the road, and now the Wolverines get to go back home, I think this is just a case of too many points. Our team pick is Northwestern plus 4 points. Based on how Northwestern has performed this season, I don't see them faring well this time around against a Michigan team that will not be overlooking them. Canisius vs Siena. A pair of teams from the mock lockup on the hardwood in the Big Apple in search of a conference victory in Western New York. The Siena Saints are on the road as they make the trip to take on the Canisius Golden Griffins Sunday afternoon. Siena comes in off a 70-64 road win over Niagara in their previous contest Friday night, covering the line as a 2-point favorite. Canisius was dropped 76-58 by Marist in their previous game at home Friday night, losing outright as 3.5-point favorite. In the all-time series between the teams, the Saints own a 56-45 advantage, including a 74-70 home win in the most recent matchup on December 2, 2022. I'm probably staying with Siena here. The Saints put up a nice comeback win over a decent Niagara team in their last outing, and they've now won 7 straight games. Siena has scored 68 or more points in 6 of those matchups, so they'll probably log a solid total in this one as well. It was a less than inspiring showing by Canisius at home against a Marist team that has struggled most of the year. Now they have to take on a Siena team with a ton of momentum with 7 straight wins on the books and who stand undefeated in mock play this season. The Saints have a 1-game lead over Iona for the top spot, with the first meeting with the Gales not slated until January 27. Siena is playing solid ball right now, and they already own a win over the Golden Griffins this season with that happening last month. With that in mind and knowing how well the Saints have played, maybe the line is so small due to how tough Canisius played Siena in their first meeting this season. On December 2, host Siena needed a late 12-0 run to defeat Canisius, 74-70. Siena won despite committing 14 turnovers, compared to 8 for Canisius. What is interesting is that Siena's margin of victory is just 6.5 during its 7-game win streak. Our team pick is Siena minus 3 points. This year Siena is 11-5-1 against the spread, while Canisius is 7-8. Yet Siena is 7-0 against the spread during this win streak. Iona Gales vs Rider Broncs. We have a Metro Atlantic Conference NCAA men's basketball game on Sunday afternoon between the Rider Broncs and the Iona Gales. The Broncs are struggling as they are 6-9, 3-3 right now and are on a 3-game losing streak after a 68-63 road loss against the Siena Saints last Sunday. The Gales are a dominant 12-5, 5-1 and are coming off a 75-69 home win on Friday against the Fairfield Stags. There is a massive difference between these programs according to their adjusted efficiency margin provided by KenPom, as Rider is 219th in the sport with a minus 3.40 rating, while Iona is currently 71st in college basketball with a plus 11.23 rating thus far. These offenses as of late are showing a difference, as the Broncs are scoring 62.8 points in their last 4 games, while the Gales are averaging 73.2 points in their previous 5 games. I get the case to be made for Rider here, as the Broncs have performed well in spots, and Iona hasn't looked as dominant in some of their recent games at home. However, Iona is still one of the best, if not the best team in the mock this season. These offenses as of late are showing a difference, as the Broncs are scoring 62.8 points in their last 4 games, while the Gales are averaging 73.2 points in their previous 5 games. There is a massive difference between these programs according to their adjusted efficiency margin provided by KenPom, as Rider is 219th in the sport with a minus 3.40 rating, while Iona is currently 71st in college basketball with a plus 11.23 rating thus far. Our team pick is Iona Gales minus 11.5 points. The Broncs are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games, so go with the Iona Gales to dominate on their own court. The East Carolina Pirates vs South Florida Bulls. A pair of bottom dwellers in the American Athletic Conference look to curl up the standings when South Florida visits East Carolina on Sunday. South Florida, 7-10, 0-4, lost to top-ranked Houston on Wednesday, 83-77, as a whopping plus 23.5 underdogs. East Carolina, 10-8, 1-4, caught a beating in Cincinnati on Wednesday, 83-55, as plus 10 underdogs. This seems like a good time for South Florida to kick the schneid and get in the win column in conference. They were in their last game against number 1 Houston until the very end, and they have played close in all of their conference games thus far, despite being winless. The Pirates seem to get worse in conference play with each game, losing their first OAC game by 2 points, then 3, then 10, then 28. East Carolina is only averaging 56.4 field goal attempts per game over their last 5 and hitting just 20.6 of those shots. South Florida in the same span has nearly 8 more shots per game and 7.2 more makes per. South Florida is on the road here, but I like them to come away with a win and cover. They are winless in the OAC, but have played very well and are due to break through. They have played everyone tough, including number 1 ranked Houston, who they almost beat. South Florida is 10-7 against the spread. While the Bulls are coming off their best game of the season, the Pirates on the other hand are coming off their worst, getting smothered by Cincinnati. Plus, they have 2 key players, Winston Tabbs and Jaden Walker, listed as questionable with illnesses. Our team pick is South Florida plus 2 points. The Pirates scored in the 50s in 3 of their last 5 games and are shooting poorly. South Florida is 2-1 against the spread in the last 3 meetings with the Pirates and 4-0 against the spread on the road this season. Mount St. Mary's vs Quinnipiac. The Quinnipiac Bobcats end a short 2-game homestand Sunday afternoon with a game in Maryland against the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers. Quinnipiac comes into Sunday with 13 wins in the year, riding a 4-game win streak after a 7-point victory against St. Peter's. Defensively, Quinnipiac was by far the better team, allowing only 51 points on 39.6% shooting and forced 16 turnovers in the game. Offensively, Quinnipiac did just enough, making 38.3% of their shots, but the Bobcats knocked down 18 free throws to secure the 7-point win. I get the case to be made for a home underdog in spots, but I just don't trust Mount St. Mary's to be able to do enough offensively to get themselves a win or at least keep this game close. The Bobcats are the hotter team right now, and they've been playing a lot better lately. Home or away, Quinnipiac is the much better team in this game and will continue to roll Sunday. Take the Bobcats to do enough on the road to get the win and cover against a bad team. Our team pick is Quinnipiac minus 5.5 points. Quinnipiac will use their strengths on both sides of the ball to get the win on Sunday. St. Peter's vs Fairfield. 2 teams towards the bottom of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference will face each other on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Fairfield Stags will be visiting the St. Peter's Peacocks at Yanatelli Center. Fairfield is 8th in the conference and are looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. St. Peter's is 11th in the conference and are looking to avoid a 5-game losing streak. The St. Peter's Peacocks are in terrible form right now, and you can make a strong case for Fairfield and the points. With that said, we're not being asked to lay a lot, and St. Peter's is at its best at home, where it wins by an average of 10.1 points and holds teams to 38.1% shooting. The ability to grab offensive rebounds is critical throughout the season as both teams are great, but there is still a gap as Fairfield is 103rd in college basketball with 9.4 offensive rebounds per game, while St. Peter's is all the way up at 19th in the nation with 11.4 offensive rebounds per game right now. The defensive production throughout the last handful of games also shows a difference here, as the Stags are allowing 74 points in their previous 3 games, while the Peacocks are giving up 65 points in their last 5 games. Our team pick is St. Peter's Peacocks minus 2.5 points. The home team has covered in 7 of the last 10 games against these 2 programs, so go with the St. Peter's Peacocks to cover the spread here. Rutgers vs Ohio State. Big Ten action continues on Sunday afternoon when the Ohio State Buckeyes, 10-6, 7-9 against the spread, 2-3 Big Ten, travel east to take on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, 12-5, 12-5 against the spread, 4-2 Big Ten. Ohio State is coming off a home loss to Minnesota 70-67, losing outright as a heavy 14-point favorite. Rutgers just won on the road against Northwestern 65-62, covering the spread as 1.5-point favorites. The two teams met earlier this season, with Ohio State winning 67-66 at home. Tip-off is scheduled for 2:15 Eastern Time and can be found on the Big Ten Network. The Ohio State Buckeyes have hit a bump, losing 3 consecutive games. They have also dropped 2 of their last 3 road games. Rutgers is clicking, winning 6 out of their last 7 bouts, including a road win against number 1 Purdue and a road victory against Northwestern. They have also recorded a notable home win against Indiana, who was ranked number 10 at the time. I'm going to take a stab on Rutgers. These teams met up back on December 8 at Value City Arena. The Buckeyes won a close game there 67-66. Rutgers shot very well, 51.8%, but coughed up 13 turnovers and got out-rebounded 35-27, 13-6 offensive. The Knights have been playing quite well since then. They're currently on a 6-1 run featuring a win over Purdue. Our team pick is Rutgers Scarlet Knights -3 points. Furthermore, Rutgers is the superior defensive squad in this bout, and it's not even close. The Buckeyes are conceding 99.8 points per 100 possessions, according to Ken Pomeroy's ratings, while Rutgers is only allowing 87.2 points per 100, good for third and die. They are especially difficult to solve at home, limiting their foe to an average of 58 points in their 3 conference home games. Missouri State vs. Indiana State. The 2022-23 college hoops season continues Sunday, January 15th, with the Indiana State Sycamores taking on the Missouri State Bears in the Missouri Valley Conference Showdown at Great Southern Bank Arena in Springfield, Missouri. The tip-off is set for 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and the Bears open as small 1.5-point home favorites with a total of 140.0 points. Last season, Missouri State and Indiana State split their 2-game set, while the Bears have won 5 of their previous 6 encounters with the Sycamores. We'll see a clash of 2 completely different styles, and I'm going with the Sycamores, who love to play fast and are arguably a more dangerous offensive team than the Bears. While Indiana State tallies 72.0 possessions per 40 minutes, 24th in the nation, Missouri State records just 63.7, 341st, and the Bears will try everything they can to slow things down. The Sycamores, who rank 31st in the country in defensive rebound percentage, 76.1%, will push the ball in transition and attack the rim all night long. I get the case to be made for either side in this game, but I'm sticking with Indiana State here. The underdogs covered in 22 of the last 28 meetings between these two teams, and Missouri State has had issues covering at home against the better teams that they've played. Our team pick is Indiana State plus 1.5 points. Indiana State makes 75.4% of its free throws, 35th, which could be crucial in a tight battle down the stretch. The Bears are a solid defensive unit but lack scoring options besides Chase Moore. Missouri State makes just 59.3% of its free throw attempts, 361st. Temple vs. Memphis. Memphis will try to bounce back from a crushing loss at UCF when it travels to Temple on Sunday afternoon. The Tigers have now lost 2 of their last 3 games following their double overtime loss to the Knights on Wednesday. Temple has won 4 of its last 5 games and is coming off a 76-72 win against Tulsa on Tuesday. The Memphis Tigers are the more talented team and should be favored, but they're a banged-up team that can feel like they're underachieving at times. While not very talented, the Temple Owls are a scrappy defensive bunch that competes, and that includes winning by an average of 1.6 points in the underdog role. This is a brutal spot for a Memphis team that has been terrible on the road this season. The Tigers have seen all 5 of their losses come on the road, including a double overtime thriller their last time out. I think they are going to have a tough time recovering from that loss emotionally, especially after Davis poured in 42 points, and it still wasn't enough. Our team pick is Temple Owls plus 5 points. The Tigers have now failed to cover the spread in 6 straight games, so they have been overvalued in the betting market. Temple has won and covered in 4 of its last 5 games, and the fan base will be excited for this matchup. Iowa vs. Maryland. Maryland will return to the court for the first time in a week when it faces Iowa on Sunday afternoon. The Terrapins were able to snap their 2-game losing streak with an 80-73 win against then number 24 Ohio State last Sunday. Iowa is riding a 3-game winning streak following an overtime win against Michigan on Thursday. This is not the type of team that you want to face in your first game back from a week-long break. Iowa plays at one of the fastest tempos in the country, and they also do not turn the ball over. This allows them to put up points in a hurry, so Maryland is not going to be able to overcome a rusty start. The Terrapins have been one of the worst three-point shooting teams in college basketball this season, giving me another reason to fade them on Sunday afternoon. They have only covered the spread once in their last 6 road games. I'm going to try Iowa here. The Hawkeyes are coming off a solid win over Michigan in their last outing, shooting 45.1% from the field with 40 rebounds, 18 assists and just 6 turnovers. Iowa has scored 76 or more points in 4 straight games, going 3-1 in that stretch. As for Maryland, they've been a mixed bag over their last 8 games, a 3-5 run with several tough matchups. Our team pick is Iowa Hawkeyes -4 points. Iowa has won 4 of the last 5 meetings between these teams.